What's up, guys?
Hello, can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Finally, yes.
Oh, good stuff. Good morning. Good afternoon, rather.
Good afternoon.
How are we all?
We're being stressed by internet in South Africa.
Don't worry about that.
So we're going to start off with just
you.
to introduce. Okay, that's perfect. We're going to get the guys from our side to introduce themselves, just so that you know who's here. And then we'll hand over to you guys' side. Are we comfortable with that?
That sounds great.
Oh, great. Let's start with Kabelo.
I'm Kabelo. Last news here.
Yeah, speak up. What are you about? Who are you? They don't know you.
This is Kabelo. Last news. You guys funded my business on the 2nd of September. With my friend who's here.
Oh, that friend. All right. Ayanda?
Hi guys, my name is Ayanda Tekiana and I am the founder of Solubile Kids. We basically do parenting and just programs to help parents get in touch with their children, and my experience is in Montessori learning program, and I'm a parenting coach, so yeah.
I'm the conductor behind the scenes. Next.
Hi everyone, my name is Thomas Joe. I work with teenage entrepreneurs. So I facilitate access to the market for them. I help them find clients, suppliers, and or stock needs. And I also received funding, and I met from How, and I met Charles and Kate when they were actually at Kids here in South Africa.
Great. Shurus?
I am Shuru Dao. I'm a content creator and curator with Network. And yeah, trying to change the way Africa is.
All right.
Hi everyone, it's Sunise from Opensource Clothing Designers. We design clothing for the streetwise, upwardly mobile and professionals. Thank you.
Only.
Hi, Lodge here. Office Solutions. Of course, the head of it.
See.
Hi, Susan here. I've been calling services and I run that.
All right. See ya. Take over.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hello.
Sia's feeling shy today, guys. So don't be on the program. He'll lead us through the entire program. This was going to go on today.
For some of you guys that don't know me, my name is from This Kids Essay Academy. We teach kids basic entrepreneurship skills. So we work with kids from the age of 9 to 17. And we met Tom and Keith and Umieyo. Yeah, I'm just excited for the new company. I'm having a great conversation with you guys. Yeah, so Charles, you can take over. Yeah, your MC take over.
Okay, we're struggling to hear you a little bit. Lebo, we can hear you really well. So I don't know if you've got a microphone or you're closer to the microphone. But if you could put that to the other people when we speak to them, that would be really, really good. Is that okay?
Yeah, he says stop being shy. Yeah, it's okay. We heard you.
All right. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me? Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. Right. So we'll do a few introductions if that's okay, and then obviously we'll go from there. I think the first thing from our side is obviously the biggest development that we've had this year from Hull is the opportunity. Hello. We keep getting taken over.
Okay. Oh, hi. Am I live?
Yes.
Oh my God. Hello.
Say hi to Hull City.
Hello, Hull City. How are you? Everything boom yo? Sorry guys. Okay. Please carry on.
Yeah, Marakat Faraski again.
Okay, right, we're back on. So yeah, the biggest development from our side is obviously the opportunity sponsored by RB to come over to South Africa. And I know that Kit, Tom, Haggai and Charles had a really, really good time and informative time as well. So I think we're going to discuss more about that in a few moments. But for us, that was a real good opportunity to establish a partnership and collaboration. And I know that there's hopefully some of you guys that are going to be coming back to Hull at some point. You can probably see behind us that we've got our own banners for Thud behind us there. Yeah, so Thud Yorkshire. And it's about kind of growing that partnership for us. Obviously, we're very busy. We're in the middle of, just at the start of Global Entrepreneurship Week. So we ran a series of activities yesterday with primary school students setting up their own project idea with investment from local business. We also, myself, Johnny and Greg, ran an app project at a local high school involving Year 7 students where they had to create an app around preventing bullying. So we're already kind of really kicking off in style. We continue to support young people with their ideas across the year. So the John Cratlow Youth Enterprise Bank continues to give grant funding and support and mentorship. Lots of initiatives, really, really busy, and obviously the start of a busy week for us. What I'll do, if it's okay, is I'll just go down our little line and let the guys here just give a sort of a couple of minutes update in terms of where they are with their businesses, and then we'll sort of have a little bit of discussion and some questions, and obviously we can go backwards and forwards in terms of what your challenges have been and where you're wanting to head. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Right. So first one, I'll hand you over to Johnny Woodson. He's my colleague at Engage Education. Just a bit of an update in terms of what we've been up to this year.
Hello, everyone. Oh, sorry. Brilliant. Okay, then. So as Ross said, I'm Johnny. I'm from Engage Education. I guess a tiny bit about us and a bit of an update about what we've been doing. To explain what we do, we have two sides of our company. We're quite a small company as well. There's only 7 of us in total. One side of our company is to work with schools across the country. This is all about project-based learning to deliver workshops. And the idea is that basically we go into loads of different schools and we work with them to create a product at the end of it. And it might be about something that's really key in their school. So it could be about anti-bullying, it could be something like British values, it could be something about SMSC, which is another key thing in the school. And it's all about helping them to achieve targets for Ofsted, which measures schools across the UK. The other side of our company is the creative side. So it's marketing in the educational sector. And this includes everything from videography, photography, right through to the design. So branding, illustration, designing prospectuses, everything really that a school would need to market themselves. That's the other side of our company. I guess in the past year or so, we've expanded quite quickly. So we've had new members join our team to boost the media side of the business, but also the design side. So we've gone from a team of 5 to a team of 7. And we've started partnering with some big companies who like the way that we approach schools and tackle issues around careers. And now we basically deliver a message on behalf of the companies to schools across the country as well. So we've started developing in different ways, and it's all good. We're growing basically.
Okay, thank you, Johnny. I'll hand you over to Kit.
Hi, guys. Right, for those of you who don't know, I'm Kit Hargreaves. I was one of the 4 guys who came over to see you guys in September, or August, September, which was an absolutely fantastic trip. And yeah, still reeling off the back of it. It was fantastic. Since we've been back, we've been really focusing on growing one of the two companies that I run, which is Click and Tap, a web design company. We're really building up with that. We're just about to open up a new office over in Manchester, as well as Hull. So we're sort of trying to get across the country in a lot of different ways, which is presenting its own interesting challenges. We're also building my other business, which is Apple Pear Education, where we're trying to go into schools, building up the knowledge in digital skills, so computing, coding, things like that. I know that I had a brief chat with a few of you guys over there about it, and about what sort of how important it's become for young people to be learning these digital skills, and how we feel that given our skill set and given what the guys we've got working in the company, that we can help grow those things. Yeah, apart from that, we're sort of keeping going strong, moving forwards and onwards and upwards.
Thank you, Kit. I'd like to introduce Haggai. You've probably seen him before.
Hello.
Hi.
I yeah. So yeah, it was a fantastic time meeting you guys in South Africa. Very inspirational, and got really inspired. And when we got back to the UK, I was absolutely fired up, and actually made more, I suppose, passionate about what we do in terms of working with young people in Hull. We learned a lot in terms of seeing things from your perspective, but not just that, then adopting that in a way we can best utilize it here in Hull. So thank you very much for that. In terms of, some of you might be aware, but I work on the project MC4C. It's at the moment is growing quite rapidly, and thanks to you guys, there's a lot of stuff that we learned from South Africa that we're trying to methods, I suppose, that we're trying to use and reinforce that sort of networking between the young people, so they can learn to work together and see how they can build their own individual businesses. In terms of Habit Business, some of you that are already following you notice that there's some sort of rebranding. There's a new crest on the business page, and we're trying to relaunch the Bumyeo collection. That will be coming out sort of December time. But yeah, looking forward to chatting a bit more later today. So, thank you.
Thanks, Haggai. And finally, he is somewhere. He's coming down to the front now, just taking some photographs. Tom Aaron.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
So yeah, I was also one of the 4 that came down to meet you all back in August, September time, August. And like all the others have said, it was an absolutely amazing, amazing time. And it was provided a lot of invaluable experience and stuff that we can pass on to our own businesses and go and step forward on future projects. Since then, both me and Kit have been busy organising to start the Pud Yorkshire, start our own version here, as you see sort of the banners behind us. So yeah, we're busy sort of getting that started, and hopefully we'll have that started end of January next year, our first event. In my personal business, I run a photography business. So the past sort of year, I've been sort of focusing on expanding on clientele, and just sort of expanding as a business. So we've moved into a larger sort of office unit based in Hull, which has just been an absolutely amazing sort of space to work from. But then it's also allowed us to sort of reach out to sort of larger clients and stuff throughout the year.
Thank you, Tom. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of an insight about what everyone's been up to. I'll hand it back to yourselves if you've got anything you'd like to add from your side, any questions or any kind of comments that you would have in terms of how your businesses have grown and the challenges that you've faced over the last year or so.
Thanks for the introduction. I actually wanted to ask Keith he thought about like South African entrepreneurs, because Haggai has touched a little bit And I just wanted to find out from what he thought from South African entrepreneurs and the guys from the UK. And yeah, if we pretty much saw any different from coming to South Africa. And then after that, and then I'll give Togo from Beyond the Lemonade Stand to just tell you more about her business and what she's been up to since you guys came here. And yeah, and then a very close friend of ours, Gavelo, he's a founder of Class News. So he'll also be telling you what since he got the funding after pitching his business at the hookup dinner. Over to you.
Thank you. Right, well, just for the other guys in the room who didn't see at the time, but we met Sia when we went down to see a school in Alexandria, and we worked with 10 children-ish, and they all did an absolutely incredible job at pitching some of the businesses they've been working on. Including some technology for finding your phone. So if someone's got a cheap phone that's not necessarily a smartphone, they'd install something into it that would get. And these kids were so fantastic at standing up and pitching and what have you. And it was absolutely inspirational for us to sort of sit there and watch how confident these children were, and how the potential that was there, and the confidence that was being given to them. By BizKids and the other organisations over there and things. Absolutely amazing. And it's been really good to then come back to this country and sort of talk with some of the kids at our schools and just and keep coming back to these kids we saw and saying, look at this, look at how confident this person is, and look at how confident you could be. This random idea that's come out of nothing, come out of a child's head is absolutely amazing. We got any sound?
Can you hear me?
Just about.
Just about. Hello.
Hello.
We good now?
I can just hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just hand over to Togoza. She also runs it is entrepreneurship company, so she'll tell you more about it.
Hi everyone. As I introduced myself earlier on, my name is Togoza. I work with teenagers that are running their own businesses, and our focus is facilitating access to the market for them, clients, so they can services, and then also focusing on connecting them to suppliers. And our goal is, one, to help them secure resource stock equipment, preferably for free. When we can get away with that, that's first prize. But if it's not, discounted rate. And the goal is really to help them build sustainable and profitable businesses. They'd hate to be called kiddies. So teens, as you know, take themselves quite seriously. I think I was discussing with Usia earlier on, we have a lot of wins, but we equally have as many challenges. This year alone, we've trained about 600 teams on just the basics of how do you move from idea. So, firstly, the whole thing about coming up with an idea is a challenge for us, because in my opinion, that's the wrong starting point. You have to identify a problem first. So no one cares about your idea, really. So just in terms of educating young people, that's been our biggest challenge. So we find a lot of teens who are interested in entrepreneurship or in business, but they're working off the wrong script. So we come and we have all these young people who are rearing to go, but they're working off the wrong script. So trying to help young people to unlearn, growing up, understanding and knowing or being told about entrepreneurship has been a massive challenge. But then another big challenge I would say is around confidence. So I know Sia's kids are special and they're oozing with confidence. A lot of the young people we've worked with, so once we've trained them on the basics of how, where to start, and then how to pitch a problem we've identified and how to generate ideas on how to come up and then share, the problem we've identified either as a group or as individuals. So that's the one thing. So they just don't have the guts to share whatever ideas they have. Secondly, they don't know how to handle or manage no. So when you say no to the idea, take it as a no, as you're rejecting them as people. So there's a lot of fear around, I guess, just hearing the word no, and the understanding of what failure. So the school system doesn't do any justice in terms of preparing young people on how to be creators, be innovators. So as an innovator, as a creator, the reality is a lot of failures. When you're starting something new, or you're doing something you've never done before, to fail. So within our school system, that's not something that's encouraged or seen as an important part of the creation journey. We are really struggling with. But in terms of wins, since we last spoke, one of our teen entrepreneurs that we work with is a biking, a cycling enthusiast, and what he started to do is he's taking chains, so bike chains, upcycling them and turning them into accessories. I'm wearing one of his products, so I have to get high supply. So I always buy the stuff that our teens put out into the market. So I don't know if you can see this. It's a bike chain that is turned into a bracelet. So if any of you are looking for Christmas gifts or ideas and you want to buy stuff from Africa, specifically South Africa, is a really, really great product.
What's the shipping cost?
I'm going to get back to you on that. Thanks for asking. So that's an example. Another example is we work with a young person who's a sketch, and in high school he noticed that a lot of his friends. No. Oh, you must also tell me. I work with a young person who's a sketch artist, and in high school we noticed that a lot of his friends who would sketch, over break time or in their free time, their sketches would be in their books, and no one would ever get a chance to see them. And he wanted to find a platform where their work would be celebrated and seen by the greater public. So he started a street label brand, and really what he does is he uses clothing as a canvas to showcase work done by teenagers in South Africa. And the great thing, what we've helped him to do is he's gotten access to the international market. So you'd find some of his products. His company is called Swank Josie. There are kids in the UK who have bought his stuff. There are kids in the US now who are walking around wearing Swank Josie products. In Kenya, in Nigeria, in Malawi, and so on. And unfortunately, because the pipeline of teams that are running their own businesses is so small, we're not able to, to speak of doing that. But that's what we're working towards. And hopefully with Thea's help and with other people who are working in the team space, we're able to build, strong team-run businesses that will eventually be a pipeline for fun at some point in our lives. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've said a lot. Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you very much. That was really good. Really insightful.
Yeah, I'll just send you guys over to Gabriel from Plus News, and he'll tell you more about his business, what he's up to.
Hello, guys. Just to take you back and tell you about Plus News. Plus News, it's an online South African publication that writes and reports about positive news. There has been a lot of development since NI1 on September with the hookup dinner. Just a few, we were able to purchase a few materials for now in news. From cameras to wall banners and everything. We are now branded, so everywhere we go, we can now travel to do certain interviews instead of insisting that people come to our small office so that we can do the interviews. It saves a lot of cost for us from borrowing cameras and video cameras for interviews that we go to. And yeah, from now everywhere I go and I mention Dr. Lives, we get interviews because he's well known, and we are trying to build the brand itself. You mentioned on the side of the business, the losing part. So because most of the team, of my team, because it's made of young people, when it comes to time for exams, we are a bit slow because everyone is studying and everything, and we don't have a working space. So whenever we have to meet, we either decide we're going to meet at the park or whatever, so we can push the business of the day. Other than that, also developing a new website. From the money from that, it's helping us to do that. And our online presence is soon going to grow from what it is now to what we wish it to be. So that's just one of the feedbacks I wanted to give you guys.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have you got anyone else you're wanting to introduce at that side in terms of anything that you've got lined up, or do you want me to introduce some of our latest additions that have just arrived?
Yeah, just a quick introduction from Gift. He's going to tell you guys more about his clothing line and what they've been up to. And I've got great stuff about him. So, yeah. So, hi guys. Okay. So from the last time we met, we spoke about compliance, tax issues. So we're trying to sort them out as much as we can. I've been speaking to Hagai, and he knows that we recently just showcased at SA Fashion Week.
Can you just come a little bit closer? Sorry to interrupt, just a little bit closer, just so we can hear a little bit better, if that's all right. Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
That's better.
Okay, I'll start over. So we just recently started sorting out our compliance issues, the tax issues importantly, and we just showcased at the SA Fashion Week. We did a 5-week installation. This was a winter project for next year. This would be 2017 autumn winter. And so far, what has happened with the business is we've learned that the employees are not loyal. We recently lost 3 employees in the business. Some of the challenges that we've come across. Currently, it's just only 3 of us running the business, handling orders,
And yeah, so far so good. We are able to deliver what's this, individual orders, orders. Next year, we're now working on mass producing the recent winter collection. Hopefully, we'll be able to get into stores like the Space, currently are talking to. From there, how things go. Any questions from your side?
Okay, I'll let you guys think of a question, but in a second, while we're thinking, I just want to introduce two other people from our side that have just arrived from a school. If Kit and Johnny can just move to one side, then we'll be able to see them. So these guys are from Gills Hill Primary School over here with their teacher, and they're a primary school in Hull that do a lot of enterprise work. They are always involved in the Making £5 Blossom campaign, a really enterprising school. So we're really delighted to have those with us today. Do you want to give them a quick wave so they can see you? Yeah, good stuff. I'll bring Johnny and Kit back in. Okay, and I'm going to put one of them on the spot. Has anyone got a question you would like to ask? Okay, over to Johnny.
Okay, so if you could outline over there, what do you think the main challenges are for you when you're running your businesses at the moment? What's kind of the key challenge for everyone?
Are you asking anyone in particular?
Sorry, whoever spoke last, I think, is that straight to you?
Oh. Our challenges right now, currently, it's we are unable to produce mass production. That would be our
Okay, I think I just missed off the last bit there. Sorry, what was the last bit?
The challenges that we have is manpower. So being unable to mass produce from our side.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting because just coming back to ourselves, I've spoken to the guys who spoke briefly earlier, and I know that I think one of our challenges as an organisation, I'll hand it back to Johnny, is probably linked very similar to the one you've just explained there.
Yeah, I think we've got exactly the same problem. As our company's been growing, we've had issues with meeting the demand as well. So bringing in more people has come with the challenges anyway, because it's kind of, if we bring someone in, it's about can we afford to bring them in as opposed to how much work they're going to do as well. So really our challenge has been finding the right people to join our company. It's very creative, so finding people who have specific roles in graphic design or photography or videography has been quite tough for us, and it's about finding people not just with the right skills, but we've found a real challenge with finding people who definitely fit in with our group. So there's only 5 people in our business when we start to recruit new members, and it wasn't just about the skills, but it's about people who can really fit into the business and really make a big impact. So it's kind of the same thing. We've had an issue with the amount of work we can get through with how many people we have so far, and we've only just really managed now to recruit another 2 members. But it's been through some really hard work with everyone, so it's been under a lot of stress for everyone to get through all the work. But we're in a much better position now. But it is certainly a challenge to find those right people.
Thank you very much. I've got a question to anybody who would like to take it. Do you believe there is a secret ingredient to success?
Sales.
Sure. Success in business. I think for me, how the business really started to get somewhere was when I actually started to get out there and do something. Because I spent so much time working on the business plan, working on how it looks on the outside. And then when I started to do that, then I actually got real feedback in terms of the amount of sales I'm making, people who are willing to invest or people who are not, and why. So for me, getting on the ground and actually getting the work I want.
You just froze for a little bit there. You just froze for a little bit. after getting on the ground?
Get on the ground and getting to meet the clients on a day-to-day basis, I got to know what my clients want. And obviously then in a position to bring more of that. And that for me has really worked well.
Brilliant, fantastic. Thank you very much. I'll just quickly go to Kit to explain what his kind of challenge is then, if that's okay.
So, certainly from a challenge point of view, for me, as some of you know, about halfway through this year, I changed the way that my company works. So I did have one company that was doing web design and education, weird combination, and I decided to split them in two, which meant that I then had a staff member and an entire company and way of working and what have you that needed to be completely rebranded, changed, move location, all of that, all in the space of about a month. And certainly I think that the one thing that I took away from that was, as much as it was it was a huge challenge at the time and it completely uprooted things and it made things very difficult. The way that the company's then gone from that and grown because of the rebranding, because of just having the courage to just change something completely and utterly, means that we're now doing better and stronger than we were before in both companies. So I think certainly if we go back to sort of ingredients of success, from my point of view, I would say that it's that willingness to look at what works and more importantly what doesn't work, and then have the courage to change it, even if it might mean a bit of shaky moments.
Thank you, Kit. Have any of you got a question that you'd like to ask to Tom or Agai?
Thomas has got a question.
Sorry, I can't remember the names, but the guys who said they work in schools and there are a lot of companies, even government, wants to partner with you because of what a working model. What do you do? What is it that you're doing well? Can you give us an example of what it is that you actually do in schools? I know you said you do a lot of project-based learning. Can you give an example of what that looks like? And yeah.
Oh, okay. So with our workshops, your project-based learning, the reason why we do it this way is really because it brings to life whatever the project that the student's doing. So, for example, one of ours is a comic workshop, and it might be focused on improving the literacy skills of a young person. So, in terms of their reading and their writing, and the reason why we do it in a project way of them creating a comic is because then they're actually creating a real product as well. So they're really invested into something. So this means as well that as a result of that workshop, they will see an outcome of their work, and they don't just view it as a challenge to writing something down or something like that. But our projects really are across loads of different areas. So that was on literacy, but there's stuff around careers and stuff. And I think the key thing is when you're in schools is to try and make it as real as you can for the students and give them an outcome at the end, whether or not that's entrance into a competition, a product at the end of it, something where the students can take it away and then have some more, it basically has a bigger impact on them from that point on.
So just in terms of what Johnny's saying, the kind of real simple terms of it is we go and deliver a workshop. At the end of it, we have a team of creative people back in our studio that transform the students' work into something real. So it could be that they've worked with our film equipment and they put together a film based on their school that will go back to our studio, and our media team will edit that and produce a professional film for the school to use. Like Johnny's mentioned, it might be a comic book where our illustrator will then transform the best comics and characters, and we actually produce a real comic book. So that's kind of the project-based element, and that's where they're sort of inspired and engaged, if you like. I'm going to just pass you over to Tom. He's going to explain his challenge, and then we'll go back to yourselves, and I'm sure we'll have a question to ask to one of you again, if that's okay.
Yeah, so I think sort of my challenge was that's then down to I think what the other guys have said as well. It's the manpower issue. Throughout the past year,
Can you speak up a little?
Yeah. So like so manpower again. Throughout the past year, I've sort of taken on contracts, taken on more and more business. That it's got to a point that it's struggling to run a business from the aspect of like admin and doing everything else, because I'd be the only one in the business. It's a struggle to do everything else that consists of it. So the invoicing, the emails. So I think my issue at the minute is just trying to find someone else sort of looking at employees and the possibility of growing a business to sort of then undertake new aspects of the business and grow eventually. So yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
I just have a quick question. Toyota and I work with teams, so I think we've been struggling with coming with a proper pricing model. You know, we've been struggling when it comes to the department, because what we've realized is most parents from South Africa, you know, don't want to pay for their kids. Look, most parents here in South Africa would rather buy bread instead of paying $50 for an entrepreneurship course. So, and that has been a challenge for us, because between a rock and a hard place, you know, but we're not sure if we should run our businesses as a NPO or business, because we're struggling to, you know, make sales or find parents that can actually pay for that we offer. And I just want to find out from you guys, what is it that you guys did different, and why are people willing to pay for their kids that side to go through your programs, or to, you know, just go through an entrepreneurship plan? Like, what advice would you give us, and how can we, you know, move from just being a business and have a proper pricing model?
Okay, yeah, a really good question. Thank you. I'm going to hand it over to Kit first of all, and then introduce Haggai to answer either that question or another challenge that he feels is relevant. But I'll pass you on to Kit first of all, just to answer direct your question.
Thanks. So pricing is one of my my big sort of issues, really. It's something that I've often struggled with. The reason I sort of particularly wanted to answer this question is when I started, I had absolutely no idea, and because we are a service, we're you know, service-based industry, we're offering something that is only given a value by the value it is to the customer. You know, building websites is entirely determined by how much the customer needs it, wants it, and how much it can add to their business. Now, where this left me very much was when I started, I massively undercharged. You know, the prices were so low, and I sort of was experimenting with them, and it took me years and years and years to get my head around how much I needed to be charging, and you know, what I needed to be charging to cover my own costs, how to persuade people to pay a little bit more for different things. You know, that was a huge struggle. But then what I started doing about sort of maybe a year ago was sort of looking in more depth at what other companies were doing in the same industry, and looking what other people were charging, and then working out what I could do to either and then decide whether I was going to undercut them slightly, or whether I was going to be able to provide more than that company was doing, in which case charge a little bit more. But it wasn't until that point, you know, all the amount of experimentation and guesswork and what have you cannot meet the ability of market research to tell you how much to charge. It's so much about looking at your competitors and working out what they're doing.
Thank you, Kit. Over to Haggai.
Hi, guys. I suppose for me personally, when it comes to pricing, it based on the industry that I'm in, the fashion industry, it's all about actually going out there to your customers and really getting the feedback from them in terms of how much they're prepared to pay. So, for example, if you printed a couple of T-shirts or you designed something, it's putting it out there, whether on your platform, social media, on your Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, or actually going out into the market and putting a value in it and getting feedback from your potential customers in terms of, right, how much are you willing to pay for it? How much do you think this is worth? And I find that's usually the best way to, rather than make assumption in terms of how much you think something's worth, I think sometimes to just directly ask your potential customers and they give you an answer gives you a better understanding of how to price or rate your stuff.
Thank you. Does that help? Does that answer the question?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it did. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions for both sides?
We have got a room full of people here. I'm going to hold the camera up in a minute. I'm not just talking to nobody behind my shoulder. I was just asking if anybody else had any questions they would like to ask. Tom's doing a grand job of film element. Yeah, there we go. Does anyone have any questions? No, I think you've kind of covered all of our questions in what you've said, and it's obviously really interesting to hear about the varied businesses, those that help people out and setting up business, those in specific industries. It's really interesting. So I think it's been absolutely fantastic. Have you got anything else that you'd like to ask us, or any other kind of closing remarks from your side and from your challenges or successes, of course?
Yeah, we have 3 before we can close. So Rosa has a question, and Ayanda has and I have a question.
How much time do we have? Just
as long as you would like.
Don't say that.
Within reason. Within reason.
I'm interested in a couple of things. One, the guys that work in schools, I'm very interested in taking the conversation a little further. I'd like to understand your model in terms of how you partner with the schools, and then also how you get parents to engage, or how you get buyers, programs that you run. 2, because my focus is on access to the market for the companies that we work with, I wasn't kidding about selling the chains over to you. So I'd love to have a conversation around how do we, any products or or services that the teen entrepreneurs that you're working with are offering that you could let us know about, and we'd be happy to promote on our side and try to get them clients, and vice versa. For us, that's a conversation I'd love to hear about. And then, yeah, I think that's the collaboration. Yeah.
You did just cut off a little bit, but I think I got the overall gist of it. So for the point number 1, which was obviously about how we kind of work with schools, and you actually got one of the biggest challenges in there that a lot of schools in this country are facing, which is actually engaging parents. So that's one of the things that we're working on at the moment. So it's really relevant and topical that you've mentioned that. And obviously we'd be delighted to continue a conversation with you beyond this. I think that's what today's all about, really, is sparking the conversations and ideas and then taking them further forward to the next level. When you mentioned about the kind of the products and services and promoting that both sides, again, of course, that is something that we would love to explore, and again we can discuss that at a sort of a further date. No problem whatsoever. I think it's really important that we use both networks from both sides of the world to help each other out. So, fully agree with both of your points there.
Ayanda has a question for you guys.
Basically, I want to ask, and I just tap to it a little bit, because being in the parent coaching space, the work that you guys are doing around parenting. So I was actually expecting to hear that you guys are not having the same challenges that we are having. Two kind of clients. I work with your middle income, higher income mom, dad families who are very busy at work, really have too much abundance of it. They're taking their children to the right school. So as far as they're concerned, the children are sorted, you know? And then on the lower scale, which is more the CSI work that I do, you have moms and dads who are just trying to get by, literally on a daily basis. They just figure out what to eat for dinner and trying to paint this beautiful picture of what education can do for you, for your children, for the next generation. What everything that you as a parent know, how you can actually create memories, teach your children, how the children. And that's basically the biggest challenge that I'm having with the business. And I'm reading a lot, as I say, from case studies in the book. You know, not having, and I was thought I don't you guys, but hey, yeah, with regards to that. So I wanted to know if you guys are doing literacy programs and what exactly, what kind of involvement are you doing in terms of the parents to say, this is what you can do at home, basically.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll start this off, and then obviously if anyone else wants to jump in, please feel free. In terms of what we do, a lot of it is making sure that the work that the students do in the workshops, first of all, in school, is actually then communicated or seen by the parents in some way. So, for example, we've worked with companies in this country to get the students to put together a film based on that company. So they'll go into the company, find out more, ask the key managing directors questions, interview some members of staff, and then all of that will be edited into a film. And then there's a movie premiere in the school where the parents are invited up so that they can see what their students have been doing and actually learn and find out more about that company. And obviously from the company's point of view, they are looking to recruit. They're looking to recruit the future generation, but also the current generation. So parents who are actively seeking employment, whatever sort of level that may be, there's an opportunity for them to informally kind of find out more about that company, but also working with their students, working with the school. So I think for us, it's about looking at how the work that the students do in the workshops can then be communicated really well to parents. We also we work with schools to actually communicate their messages to parents. So we use a lot of social media, put together really nice little video clips for schools explaining key subject issues, because a lot of the issue of actually communicating with the parents in our country is that some of them actually struggle to understand the curriculum and subject topics. So there's instantly kind of a wall there of them not being able to help their children out with that. So there's already an issue there in terms of that communication. And the way that we do that is produce material that's really nice and accessible for every single parent, to read and to understand, that will then help them when it comes to communicating with students and also communicating with the school itself, because that's then another issue that you face with the barrier because of the fact that they struggle to understand some of those elements. So I think that's kind of from our point of view what we do. I don't know if anyone's got anything else they want to add. Yeah, okay. Anything? No? Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of what we do is actually producing material that parents can engage and interact with, whether that's from the students or from the school, but done in a really kind of friendly and informal way.
Conversations and to hear what you guys have to say on that side. But I think everyone's question here is how can we operate and trade more? Because I think at the end of the day, after this conversation, we have to, grow as businesses and how we can help you guys grow. So how can we collaborate and trade?
Okay, I'm going to hand over to Haggai to address that question, if that's okay. I've put him on the spot a little bit. I am doing this. I'm just putting people on the spot, so just bear with us.
Hello. Yeah. So in terms of development of the relationship between Hull and South Africa, I think Tom and Kit mentioned earlier that obviously there's a launching of the hookup dinner Yorkshire that hopefully will be set up by January, I think. So that'll be such a good opportunity to perhaps, I don't know how often we could try and do, maybe have a sort of a mini hookup dinner between the hookup dinner Yorkshire and hookup dinner South Africa, Johannesburg, and maybe even including other hookup dinners in Africa. And it would be a good opportunity and platform to sort of share ideas between what you guys are doing and what we're doing in the UK, and maybe develop from there, I think. So that'll be kind of like the basis. That I'll probably, unless anybody else got anything else to add to that.
And
one second. We just got Kit to add one point to that as well.
Cool. So, as part of what Tom and I are doing to set up Thud Yorkshire, we've created an online portal which will function basically like a forum, which basically any young entrepreneur can apply to be a member of. You still have to apply for it, and then just make sure that the criteria are fit and things. And then we're very much trying to encourage that online discussion between young entrepreneurs here. But we'd also really love to extend the invitation to join that to you guys over your side as well. So we can actually get a sort of very consistent communication going on between the young entrepreneurs here and you guys over there as well.
That sounds great, man. Guys, I'd like to thank you. Guys, we're coming over either in May or in July. We're still going to finalize with Charles, your guys' team on that side. So that things are aligned. Also, because you guys are the City of Culture for 2017, hopefully there's some activities that can align. And I think there's an opportunity for a lot of program exchange. We've already started, which is a great thing. And I think the next level we would like to take it through Yorkshire. And there's an opportunity for Joburg entrepreneurs not just over to sightsee and see what's happening in the UK, but for us to have a learning exchange of sorts, in the same way that Thomas and Kate and Haggai came over here and they got some insights. I think the next level is beyond learning to train. And I think when we can start establishing that type of mutual respect as partners across the seas, we'll see, we're going to start seeing a new spirit. I think, for instance, on our side, Africa's got with the youngest population across the world. And there's a lot of energy that's currently popping up in Tanzania to launch the hookup dinner over there. So there's a lot of opportunity for business, to do business meaningfully and to do business differently. I mean, I think that the social business, like we are all focusing on businesses that solve social issues, like real issues that young people are experiencing around us. And I think there's an opportunity for collaboration, especially in the digital space. I mean, I look at your business kit and I'm thinking, how can we start using your services over here? Could move at a faster pace and at a cheaper rate, and vice versa. What type of products can we get into your guys' market? And it's also just about leveraging the existing trade relations and policies that our two governments have. As young people, we don't seem to tap into that space very well, but it's time out because we are already tapping into other countries. So why don't we leverage off what is already works for us as a young enterprise? Thank you very much, guys.
I think, yeah, thank you very much. I think what you just said there is absolutely spot on, because when we consider, we've been doing this, I think this is our third year now, hooking up in this way during Global Entrepreneurship Week. And last year we discussed about having the communication and the visit, which happened. Again, thanks to RB, otherwise it wouldn't have done. So, huge thank you to them for supporting that. But now we talk about the next step, which is trade. So I'm absolutely certain that this time next year we'll be sat in this room and we will have traded, and then we'll be looking at the next level from there. I think we will absolutely make it happen. So thank you again for your time this afternoon, in your case, this morning for us. We've really enjoyed it. It's been really insightful as usual. Thank you at our side to KC for actually setting this up for us and giving us the facility and the space. And if Tom can just lift up that webcam a little bit, I'll get everyone to say goodbye and do a nice little wave. And we'll see you in this instance next year, but hopefully in person before Global Entrepreneurship Week. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.